Hello everybody, Prow here with another video on Hytale, and this one is potentially a really big one. It might depend on what type of player you are, but I do have some news to bring as well. But first we're going to talk about the biggest news, which is the fact that Hytale just released another blog post. You can go to hytale.com and click on blog to find it. And it is about their creative mode, and more specifically, their creative mode tools that are built into the game. Now, if you followed Hytale in the past, you've known a little bit about what these tools can do, but there has never been this much of an in-depth showcasing of what the tools are capable of, how they work, etc. So what we're going to do is I'm going to highlight some of the parts of the blog post to talk about. We're going to pull up the video. We're not going to watch the whole thing in full, but we're going to watch sections of it that I found kind of interesting or things that I think you may want to see. And then if you want to see more of it, you could go to the blog post and watch the videos from there. And before we jump in, I just want to give you guys, all of you watching, a huge shout out. You've been so amazing, showing interest in the videos, watching them, liking them, leaving tons of comments. I've read every single one of them. I definitely appreciate it, but 90% of you are not subscribed to the channel. So if you would like to help make the channel grow, click the subscribe button right now. Let's see if we can just like break YouTube with 90% of you guys clicking the subscribe button on the channel. Or you can not subscribe. It's totally up to you, but I would definitely appreciate it. Okay, so one of the things that we're going to showcase a lot in the video itself is going to be a lot of the brushes that are available. And for those of you that are so inclined, with their node editor that's built into the game, you can create your own brushes. I'm not smart enough for this kind of stuff, but I'm sure some of you guys are, and you may find it interesting that you can create your own brushes. For those of you that just want to do some creative mode building, what's built into the game you're going to see is going to be more than enough. Right here is a look at the quick settings panel. I'm going to open this up really quick and we will full screen it, and you can see some of the settings that they have in the creative mode. So tool reach distance, delay, brush opacity, like there's a whole ton of different like options here. It's not worth me going over all of them because you're going to see so many of them throughout. The important thing to know is that you're going to have settings that can pretty much do anything that you can think of that you want to do. I imagine for a novice user, like I would consider myself a novice user of this type of stuff, it's going to be a little confusing at first, but as you learn more and more of it, it's going to greatly enhance and speed up the things that you can do in creative mode. So I'm going to go ahead and hop into the video. Okay, so first thing he's doing is he's moving brushes into his inventory down here. You see there's brushes for all sorts of things: boulders, rubbles, tentacles. We never didn't get to see that one. Grass, mountains, etc. So these allow you to paint these types of terrains on the landscape, as you'll see. And you see on the right hand side here, here's that quick settings menu for the tools. Also, you're going to see once he gets all of these things in his hotbar, and once Qatar here has all of these things in his hotbar, you're going to get to see some of these in action. So you could kind of see here first, like the placement. There's a lot of different ways to select that if you go through and watch the whole video, and we'll probably touch on some of them a little bit, that you're going to see. You can change the distance. You can make it to where I think you're like you can control it via keyboard. There's a lot of different options. You're going to see there's a legend here on the left hand side that will give you generic information, have it up all the time as well, let you know some shortcut keys, etc. I really like that because I don't normally remember all those things. I'm sure that, yeah, you could press the L button to turn this on or off. So they do have a lot of in-game tool tips to help you figure out what it is that you want to try to do. So you can see right here, he's just placing like different boulders. And then right here, since he has the paintbrush tool selected, and he's going into this menu. This is a menu that has additional settings for the paintbrush. So the paintbrushes, you can change the width, the height, the shape, the origin, meaning do you place it from bottom, place it centered, or place it from the top? I don't know if it has left or right, it might. And there's all sorts of interesting things that you can do to modify the brush. So you see he's just kind of dotting it around right now. He's using a mouse shortcut right here. I think you see it on the left, where if you hold or press certain buttons, it's going to grow the size of the selection area or shrink the size of the selection area for the brush. So you do have a lot of shortcuts. He swapped to another brush for the dirt path. And again, remember, these are just creative mode tools that are at your disposal. So whether it's your getting into modding, you're making maps, you want to plan builds that you're going to try to do in your world, or you just like playing in creative mode better from a gameplay perspective because you find that to be more fun than going through the survival grind. All of those things are going to be available to you. Okay, so we're about to use another brush here. And what I think it's like ruins or something is what it was. Yes, it's the ruins brush he's about to use. So as you can see, he can just paintbrush in ruins in a particular area. Now, if you're wondering, later on, we do get to see some like major editing of these types of things. You can also replace blocks and that sort of thing. And this is a common theme that I have seen while watching this. And I think if you really pay attention to it, you should appreciate it. I don't know if you've used world edit tools in Minecraft before, whether it be on Bedrock or Java Edition. But when you start to edit or change a lot of blocks at a time, the game really has a hard time like doing it very quickly. And for what I've seen in Hytale here and the different footage we've watched, it hasn't really had that hard of a time. He's hitting Control Z to undo. So he just undid all of these edits that he did do. And he's just going to like trying to change some of what he's doing here. All right, let's skip ahead. Okay, now this part, I don't fully understand the layout of it all, but I kind of get what he's doing. So he went to this menu called prefabs, where there are some prefabricated builds. And I don't know if these are things that are already in the game or if it's more like a world that you do. I guess it's like, no, this is stuff that's already in the game, it looks like. So he went to World Gen. Now he's going to go to a subcategory. Oh no, he's going to prefab editor demo. I think, okay, so this is a place that he has saved. So he's created this area and then he's going to hit load and it's actually going to create a portal and take him to that location. So it's almost like a world in a world. I don't know if it's actually a separate world file or if it's a world nested inside of this world. We don't really know that. But what he has here are some prefabricated or pre-made structures that he's able to grab from. Now, this could be great for organizing your creative worlds, because what you could do is you could have prefabricated areas for build stuff, for technical stuff, or for different themes of things or whatever. I imagine it gives you the capability to organize much better your builds that you want to grab and use, especially those you guys that are going to be map makers. You may have a lot of these types of things that you're going to like go between. Great way for you to organize all of that. So what you're going to see here is, I think he is copying one of these. So there he goes. He's running a copy command. Oh, and here, can you look at this? It's going to be kind of hard to see. You'll see it a little bit later. But the selection boxes actually have dimensions on them. So this is 25 blocks across, 18 blocks depth, and 15 blocks height. I know this is probably too small for you to see on your screen here, or maybe the quality doesn't come through quite as well, but that is super cool that it gives you the measurements on the grid layout that you have. I love that. Okay, so I believe he's copied it. He's taken himself back to this world, and I believe now what he's going to do is he's going to paste it. So you can just kind of bring it in. Paste tool. So he's given himself the paste tool, and there it is. So now he gets to see it. He gets to see it move around. He changed it back to wireframe so he could see more of like what's behind it. So you get to pick if it's going to be a wireframe or if you're going to see the whole build or not. So that's kind of cool. And now he's using the mouse or the keyboard to move it individual blocks rather than using it by like looking around with his mouse, which I think is really cool. Because if you want more finite control, if you want more precise control, this is awesome to be able to do this. And then he's going to be able to rotate it. And I love how you can just see exactly how it's going to look. Look at this. Super cool. He placed it down, but placing it isn't it. Like he could decide to do things with it after it's placed. So I believe what he's going to do is he's going to like grab it here. Hold on. Nope, there he goes. He's actually putting it underground more. So he undid it and it's gone to paste again. And now he's placed it. Okay, the next portion we're going to watch here, I think is an interesting one. So this is going to be the camera tool. Machinima? How do you machinima? I'm gonna go with machinima, and you guys can roast me in the comments if I'm saying it wrong. But basically it's like cameras. It's like if you've ever done like replay mod in Minecraft, it's not doing the replay portion, but like it's similar in terms of how it works, right? You set camera waypoints and then it's going to actually draw a path for you. So he's going to set a point. He's going to set multiple points here. And what he doesn't show, but I assume you can do, is you could probably edit the points and edit like information about them, maybe change their locations once they're placed down, change the direction they're looking and that sort of thing. But you see how you get a line that draws the path for you, so you can see what the path is going to be. I'm going to skip ahead now to where he plays it along the path. Here we go. So he's played it, and now he's just going to speed it up a little bit. So great if you want to take footage of something that you've built, or if you have some video or project that you're working on, to be able to kind of pan through and show everything. Really neat that this is built into the game, and it seems to be pretty easy to use, very intuitive. Maybe something that I'll be using in some of my video creation. Here we get to see some like larger size placement of shapes and different brushes. So you can see here he gets to select size, and he's placing these things down. The next time here, I'm just going to point these out so I don't have to show them, him showing in video form. So you can change the width, the height, the shape type, the origin. We went over all of that. Then there's wall thickness, which is how thick the walls are. If you set it for 0, it's a solid object all the way through. But let's say you set it as 1, then you would have like this sphere would just be like an outer wall. And then if you knocked one block out, you could be inside. It would be hollow basically. So that's really cool. So you get to set the thickness of the walls. And there was another setting, which was density. That's the density, like percentage of blocks. So let's say you're going to make a cube, right? And let's say that cube is made up of 1,000 blocks. If you set the density down, it's going to randomly be missing blocks. So if you set the density for 50%, then out of those 1,000 blocks, when you press the button, only 500 of the blocks will get placed down. It'll be kind of random. I can show you this a little bit further in. Here you can kind of see the hollow cube there. It's kind of neat. And here you go. Here he's going to do density. He's going to set it way down, 34%. He's setting the size down. And so watch when he places, you see how it's like not all the way filled in. It's setting down a percentage of the blocks that would exist inside of that cube. So another really cool feature. Here he's what he's doing is a paint, like this is the paintbrush tool, and you get to pick the material. So I can't tell. I don't think these two are the same blocks. So basically the material is going to be one of this type of block, one of this type of block, and 3 of this type of block. So 20% of the blocks will be this, 20% of the blocks will be this, and 60% of the blocks will be this. So you're going to watch. Actually, it looks like what he's doing is he's using a replace command as well. So he's painting over top of this and replacing blocks that are there. And I imagine if we see him pull the menu up again, see his density is 34%. So only 34% of the blocks that he's hovering over are getting replaced, and they're getting replaced by these materials in terms of whatever percentage of the materials that is like appropriate for what blocks are there. Really, really, really cool. So now he's going to replace 100% of them. So all really, really, really cool things. And I believe it was somewhere else in here, but essentially what you can do is you can replace blocks. You can select what type of blocks you want to replace. So let's say you make some type of build in creative mode, but you decide, I don't like this material. I don't like that I made it out of stone. I want to make it out of this other material. I want to make it out of concrete instead. I'm just pulling this out of my butt right now. I don't want it to be stone. I want it to be blue concrete. Then you could tell this type of tool to replace all stone with blue concrete, and it would only replace what you're painting over and only replace the material that you're painting, that you've selected to replace. So really, really, really cool. It's going to give you a lot of ways to plan your builds, make your worlds, whatever it is you want to do. Okay, this part is going to be really cool too. So he's going to set an axis. Let me see if I can see where. Okay, so I don't know what button he presses to do it, but he just set an axis right here, basically a wall. And what it's going to do is it's going to lock anything that he does to only paint on this plane. So you're going to watch here. He's dragging this around. It doesn't matter how close or far away he is from it. None of that matters. It's only going to paint it on this plane. And you can set this plane in any way or shape that you want to. So again, making it super easy to do this sort of thing. There you go. Super easy, super cool. Here he moved the plane back, and then he painted black on top of that as like a backdrop to what was in the front. Now what he's going to do is he's going to take this plane and he is going to rotate it. So now it's at what looks like a 45-degree angle, and he's kind of done it off center there too. Now, as you can see, he's painting on it again, and it's only going on that plane. So now he's showing you how the selection tool works. You can move it, you can stretch it. That's kind of crazy. You can stretch it down into the ground or stretch it as high as you want to by clicking the sides and dragging them. And if you see, it shows you live as you go the size of the box that you're creating. So this is 11 blocks by 9 blocks by 2 blocks. So super easy for you to create a shape and know that the shape is the exact size that you want it to be. Now what he's doing is he's like doing a selection. See, it says extrude. So he's selecting this area and he's going to extrude this out, basically stretch this out, a copy of those blocks that are already there. He shows this in an even cooler form here in a second. So look, he's writing the word high here. Now he's going to select the word high and he's going to stretch it out. See? And it only stretched those blocks. Super cool. Now this is an existing prefab structure, and he just grabbed it and he's just placing them around. This is a structure that already exists in the core, in the base game. It's like a little iceberg or ice spike type thing, and he's just placing them around. Right here, he's showing a measuring tool, so he can like pick a couple corners and measure something that's already there. So he's going to pick that corner, and then you know that diagonally this thing is 16.97 blocks, and you could select any 2 locations and it'll tell you the distance between those 2 spots. So you can see it's 12 blocks across. Really interesting. You can kind of draw this around too, and it'll tell you the distance between every point. I'm assuming he's just holding the mouse button down. What I don't know is if it shows you the total distance of everything. I couldn't see that was the case anywhere. I would assume that you can't do that though. Now he's going to show the laser pointer feature, I think. Here you go. So he's using that laser pointer tool and he's just pointing to areas that he's looking, and you can see that it shoots a laser at it, letting somebody know that that's the thing that you're talking about. You could hold the button down and kind of like encircle things and have multiple lasers come out. So you could kind of like circle something and be like, I'm talking about this thing right here. You can clear land as well. As you can see, he's clearing quite a lot of it really quickly. It does take the game a second to catch up because of how much of it that he's clearing at once, but the game seems to handle it pretty good. So next, what I wanted to show you is a little showcase that they did where I think maybe 3 of them building, it looked like about 3 of them, took about an hour building up a castle, and they condensed it down into a 3-minute video. What we'll do is we will watch some of that now. If you want to watch the full thing, feel free to go ahead and watch the video through the link that I provide down below. But as you can see here, let me just back up really quick. Watch how fast this land transforms. So you see they put a block here, then they start adding some boulders around the edge. Like this is coming together in just a matter of seconds, even on their end. This got added. Like I can pause like once every second and the landscape massively changes. So really cool that you could do that type of thing. And then they look like you use another edit tool to kind of break into that a little bit. They're placing generic shapes down to shape in their castle. I imagine they're using the 1 thick block walls. That way there would be some interior space there to work with. Here you're going to see where they've kind of painted the landscape some. They've added in some red. They're doing some work by hand. They're doing some work by replacing existing blocks with other blocks rather than adding or like breaking and then adding blocks. So that's kind of cool too. Here you're going to see they're going to paint some trees on, just placing those in, no problem at all. Very easy to do. And then right here, they're going to get back to work on the castle, putting in a roof, replacing the original like template blocks with blocks of different colors. You can see they can just replace them all in one go. And then as they're going through here, looks like he is actually breaking, replacing those. But you could use a tool that would just replace them all for you if you wanted to. And basically what you're seeing here is they're just going through and experimenting, and it's pretty easy to go through and do that, whether it be at a block by block level, because everything works really quickly, or whether it be with some of the tools to reset entire areas and be able to edit them again, either in whole or block by block. And here you can see their final result after, again, 1 hour worth of work using the tools that they had available, where they have this fully built small castle that looks really cool. I think the block palette's really neat. I think it's very interesting looking. I like it. I think it's really neat. I think it came together very well. They did a great job, better than I could do. Last but not least, I just want to go over a few notes that I found on Twitter from mostly from Simon. I think all from Simon here. One, somebody asked Simon, is fishing in the game right now, or do we know? Simon said no. They might be able to add trap fishing to compensate having none in the meantime and work on proper fishing after launch. So it looks like we may get at least a basic like trap fishing type method where I guess you put down like a fishing trap in the water and it just slowly catches fish over time. Now mine does say here like, hey, like you guys probably shouldn't worry about it. Just, you know, spend a good time on it that you need and you can release it whenever it's ready. Simon right here in his response is basically saying they kind of want to get a version 1 of every system in the game. So they don't want there to be no fishing. They would rather there be an ultra simplistic form of fishing via traps at first. That just be version 1. And then they drastically change it as they go. So it looks like they do want to get every system implemented, even in a most simple basic form for early access release. Dratico here asked, aren't we supposed to be getting a World Gen blog? And Simon did answer, after all of this, yeah, not sure on the timing. So we should be getting a World Generation blog, probably the next blog or pretty soon. I would imagine we'll see it within the next week or so. Anyways, that's all I have for you guys today. I appreciate you watching this one. Creative building is not my forte. I don't really do a lot of it outside of like making some simple single structures in creative mode to figure out how I want to build them in survival. Or I do a lot of it when I'm in testing, if I'm testing like game mechanics or trying to figure out how to make farms work or do farm-based tutorials. Creative is very helpful for me for that. So I will be using it some, but for those of you that are more like larger scale creative builders, make sure you go through and you watch that entire video in full, because I think there's going to be a lot there that you can appreciate. Again, like I said earlier, apparently 90% of you guys are not subscribed. So if you enjoyed the content, if you liked this video and you think you want to see more news content and then let's play content, guides, tutorials, and that sort of thing once the game is out, go ahead and click the subscribe button. Let's see if we could break YouTube and just a whole ton of you subscribe and everybody's happy. Mostly me, but everybody's happy. Press the like button on this video if you liked it. There's a hype button somewhere down there too in the first week. Press that as well. Why not? Drop me a comment. Let me know what you think about these creative tools, and I'll see you in the next one.